Welcome.
Hi everyone. So yeah, we're going to sprinkle some sparkle on it with some Xamarin today. So, first of all, me. I use this picture because it's a good view because I work on the 23rd floor of a building, so the view's great. But yeah, I'm Luce Carter. Hi everyone. I work at a data science company as a developer, but my proud achievements I tend to put on this slide are that I've been a Microsoft MVP since 2018. I was made a Twilio champion last year, thanks to my esteemed friend over here. Yeah, so I'm a software developer trying out QA. The code got boring, so I decided I'd put my testing hat on for a bit, which has been enjoyable. And yeah, I'm a lover of code and sunshine. Basically, I hate winter, so I can't wait for it to be sunny. If I can wear shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops, I'm the happiest person around. I'll even skip down the street.
You see, I'm not really into heat. I like it autumnal. Sweater weather.
At least it's not winter, I'll let you off.
So this is me, as you can see, in a coat, sweater weather, a bit more than sweater weather. I am also a Microsoft MVP. I co-organise the MK.NET user group with that one down there, if he decides to turn up. I'm a C# developer, as opposed to Luce being a Xamarin developer. And I'm also a developer evangelist at a company called Twilio, which has a champions program.
Yes,
so
it does.
It's a cloud communications platform, and you can ask me about that later if you so desire.
It's super cool.
So I'm just going to do that because that's helpful to me.
Go for it.
So Luce and I were having a chat about what we might want to do for this talk. And I have never done Xamarin, never, until maybe yesterday when I had a look at what you've prepped for us today. But what I did do was write a function, an Azure function, that kind of looks like this. So I'm just going to give you a quick explanation. We're not going to look at this today, so don't worry, you're not going to be looking at this. We will be doing Xamarin. But what we're looking at here is a photo processor, which is going to add some sparkle to stuff. So we have the upload trigger. That puts a picture into some blob storage. That triggers a blob storage trigger, which does some photo processing, all writing to a table storage just to give some updates. And then we need to pull the download trigger to see if the picture's ready. And if it's ready, it just returns the URL of the processed picture. And that's where you thought that Xamarin would come in quite good. And we have this slide, which I'm going to pass over to Luce to explain a bit more.
So, I've copied this table. There's a box missing, but anyway, it's only a dotted line. So this is just a quick approach of Xamarin, because I've said to you that Xamarin might be a good idea for this app, but what even is it?
Yeah.
So it's so you can see the diagram. It's shared. You've got two approaches. Traditional Xamarin is just a shared C# backend. It does also support F#, but we are C# lovers on this stage, so it's all about the C#. So you've got shared C# backend, which is the traditional approach, but then you still have to write the UI separately, so you still need the time to write them, the knowledge, and sort of almost the inclination, because who wants to write UIs potentially up to 3 times? So that's the traditional approach, and then my personal favorite is Xamarin Forms, which is what I'll be teaching you today, which involves not just the shared C# business logic, but also shared UI code as well. So you can either do it declaratively in XAML, which is a Xamarin Forms dialect of XAML. It's not the same as WPF or UWP. There's similarities, so you can pick them up, but they're not the same. But I just prefer it because it just means that you've got a nice declarative style. But if you wanted to, you could also write your UI as C# code itself. I do know some people that work at Microsoft and also even in the community who do write their UIs in C#, but you will see XAML a lot. So so that's kind of an overview of Xamarin, and as I said, we're going to do Xamarin Forms because I like it's nice and simple, shared UI, code once, deploy everywhere. So what I did in preparation for this was put together a project. So this is a very simple Xamarin Forms project. So you've got, I might do it with the cursor actually, it might be easier to see.
You go for that, I'll stand over here, out the way.
So obviously this is our solution, so it's Visual Studio for Mac, but it's the same solution you'd expect to see even in a C# project. Then we'll start at the bottom. So here we've got our iOS project, so we call that platform specific. There's not much in there to know about. If you've ever done native development, you'll know that it's a very similar structure to what you'd expect to see with the same files. It's just it's C#, because all Xamarin is just a thin C# wrapper around the native APIs and SDKs. So yeah, anything you can do natively with the traditional things like Objective-C, Swift, Kotlin, etc., you can do with Xamarin. So we've got our iOS project. As I said, it's got the things that you'd expect to see, some of them of which we'll go into later. Then we've got the Android project. Again, it's the same structure as you'd expect in an Android project. You've got a main activity and things like that. But the main bit we want to care about up here is what we call our shared project, which is actually a .NET Standard 2.0 library. And all I've done with this is just set up a boilerplate so that we could save some time when I taught you this. So what we're using is an architecture called Mvvm. If you don't know it, you might know stuff like MVC from ASP.NET and ASP.NET Core. And so you've got, all I've done is you've got the views where we've got some pages declared in XAML. Then we've got view models. So the view models act as the sort of messenger between the models and the views, so that you're not having, multiple, one class doing multiple jobs. You've just got the views, and then you've got the sort of separation of concerns with nice layers.
And what's MVVM stand for, Luce?
Model, view, view model.
Okay, cool.
So nice, MVV, yeah. It always confused me at first because you say, model, you almost say view, view, model, model, but then the actual acronym doesn't actually stand for that in that order. So, yeah, so I've not worried about models in this architecture because we don't have any models, but obviously that's just a standard data model. It might be things like a person or, the usual things that you see in samples. And then obviously we've got services, but we're going to start off. So what I've done for you is we're going to start in our page. But I have gone ahead and put together for you a file which talks you through how to do it. Because I thought, do you know what? I've seen a lot of workshops and things on GitHub, even Xamarin workshops on GitHub, and they always do a nice markdown file with instructions. So I thought, let's learn together.
So you don't need to watch my painful typing, basically. Is that what you're saying? I can copy and paste?
It's not just you, actually. It's partly Apple's fault because I've got the dodgy butterfly keyboard, and I took it in to be repaired, and they told me that I'd get it back on Sunday. And I was like, no, I need it this week. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to write this code out so you don't have to deal with the double E's and the spaces and all the funny things my butterfly keyboard does.
Alrighty. So I just... because we did a quick run through before, this didn't reset this page, so you didn't see what I just did. Yeah. This is just like a view. It's a bit like HTML, really, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, so, yeah, because HTML is a markup language. Yeah,
so we can put things in. I'm learning a little bit. We can have things like a label.
We can, yeah.
But what are we going to have? We're going to have a button, aren't we?
Yeah.
We need to take a selfie, so
yeah,
we're going to have a button.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Breaking all the things.
Okay,
I shall ignore that mouse for the moment. It's probably useless now.
Yeah, so the reason we want the button is that the idea that we want is we're going to have an app where you just take a picture, then we'll send it to your Azure function, so you can then start processing it with your funky code that's already prepared.
Yeah, and we'll need an image, I believe, to display it, and then we can add some properties to this as well.
Yep.
So I've seen that IntelliSense is quite useful in this.
Yep.
So buttons need to be non-boring, so they need to be coloured, of course. So we're going to have background colour. Important things first. And this is sparkly, so I think a golden colour. So let's see what we've got. Should we go with light goldenrod yellow?
Yeah.
That would be nice. And we can have things like text colour.
Yeah, we definitely want to set the text colour. Just some, if nothing else, accessibility, you want it to be readable.
So I think black on yellow is quite nice as well. We want actual text, so what it's going to say. So that will be, sparkle me, because we're going to sparkle us.
Yeah. Put exclamation mark in for a bit of extra pizzazz.
Okay, so a little bit more. Can you see this all right? Is that good size at the back? Yeah? Okay, cool. Just shout if you like, I can't see that. And do I need to add anything else to that, Luce?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Because we want to, so you might have seen it in things like MVC, you've got like clicked handlers and stuff.
Yeah.
In Xamarin, one of the things that you can do is commands. So we want to add a command which is saying when you click the button, what the hell is it going to do? Like, where do we need to look to see how to handle it?
Okay, so I just start command, and there it is in IntelliSense.
Yep, so one of the things we're going to do is so we're using Mvvm, and one of the things you do a lot that kind of pairs nicely with Mvvm is something called data binding, which isn't unique to Xamarin, it's a C# thing. And so all it is that you have properties that you say, hey, like, you know, go and look for this. When it updates, it'll update automatically. It's almost like a messaging center, kind of.
Cool. So what do I need to do for that?
So we want to put some curly braces in.
Oh, I should have gone and looked at the MD file you prepared for me.
That's true. I did.
Let's go. Okay, so let's have a look. And I can see here that we've
zoom in on that a bit. It's tiny.
Yeah, let me go. Oh, God, I've done it again. Go. My assistant.
That's better.
Now.
There you go.
Cool. So
glamorous
I can see,
assistant.
Yeah, very. We're going to grab this take photo command. I want to get the naming right because we've got some more stuff that matters with this later. And I saw there that was binding. You can see IntelliSense is helping us again, and I'll put that in. Now, I also need one of those for my image, which is the source, because we need somewhere to know where the image is coming from, isn't it? So
just like when you do HTML image, you set a source.
So this one again is going to be bound, so binding. And if we go back over here, that's going to be image. I've done it again. I keep double clicking on it, and that
I don't think it likes double click. I think you need to just highlight it.
So this is, I'm not very good with mice. I've got dodgy hands. So we'll go back this way, which is why I had the mouse, which I threw on the floor. So
yeah, but it's not just the mouse you threw on the floor. It's the mouse you threw on the floor that you didn't bring batteries for.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that looks like the view is quite good right now, doesn't it? Yep. I don't think. Oh. I should check the MD file because I'm sure Luce has already prepared some stuff.
There you go.
We need to know what to bind it to, isn't it?
We do.
So, because otherwise, how do we get that code to connect, isn't it?
Yep.
So going back.
Yeah, because all those bindings are properties, and so it needs to know where to look to find those properties.
Cool. So let's go and put that in there. And we can see that this is got VM for view model, take selfie page view model. Now you said view model and that is a convention.
Yes, yeah. So what you normally do is just literally be the name of the page with the words view model at the end of it. So obviously because we called it, or I called it take selfie page.xaml, we called it take selfie page view model. Okay,
so we've already got that as an empty class over here.
We do.
And let's go over and see what I'm supposed to be doing next. So it looks like we need a NuGet package. So that one is Xam Media plugin.
Yeah. I will explain that one in a minute, but it takes a while to add, so we might as well get it started and then I'll explain it.
Now, I'm going to add this at the solution level, and you'll see why in a moment. I know that's a little bit small, but let's go add package. And you can see here, it's asking where I want to put it. And that's a bit small, so it's the Selfie, which is the common project, the Android project, and the iOS. So we want it in all of those because of why, which is what Luce is going to say now.
I am going to explain it. There we go. Right. So you imagine iOS, Android, UWP, all these platforms, even watches and all the things that Xamarin supports, they do things differently. So when you write the code to do certain things, like there'll be features that are common between them, like taking pictures, for example, but actually how you do it on those individual platforms will be different. So what people do to make your life easier, because they're smart and kind people, is that they do things called plugins or libraries, whatever you want to call them. And what they'll do in their libraries is actually worry about how you do these things at the platform level, and all you have to do is start using it in your shared code. So with this Xam Media plugin, what it does is allows you to take or pick from your gallery photos or videos. In our case, we just care about videos.
All right, so that's added.
Yep, so one of the things that you might have just seen Layla close was that some libraries, and especially this plugin, it does have a couple of setup steps, but it's a markdown, it's a text file that looks, it's a markdown file that looks nice on GitHub, but it auto opens in Visual Studio and not rendered, so it looks ugly. So I just made it nice and easy for you by extracting what this instruction said into this markdown file.
So we're going to work from this rather than that README, but it did pop up. So this has several steps that we need to do, and I'm going to try and not skip them. I want your help because I do tend to skip things as I'm rushing to get it all done. So the first one in main activity in the Android project is stick this in the on permission request method. So I'm going to grab that and then come back into the project. So we're going to open up the Android one, and here's the main activity. And this is the on request permission result, and I can just pop that in there. So that's cool. And now the next bit is going to be in the same file, but on the onCreate method. Yep. So I can go and the onCreate method is just this one above. So I'm just going to pop it in there.
Yep. All this is doing is just initializing it at platform level, just so that you've got it there when you start, because obviously some of these libraries, as I said, do just have some setup steps. In this case, the creator of this library, the great James Magno, has said you just need to initialize these at platform level.
And I just added in the using there as well. So the next thing is in the properties /Android manifest.xml file. So I'm going to grab this one, and I've got to put it between the tags, the following tags. It doesn't actually say which ones there, Luce, so I might need your help in a moment.
Yeah, that's it. It's so, because if it turns out when you're writing Markdown, if you just put you just put closing tags in, it doesn't render them literally. They just disappear because it's actually looking for the value.
Oh,
so
that looks horrible.
It's okay. Yeah, if you just right-click it.
Yeah.
Open with source code editor. There you go.
Okay, cool. So
there we go. So we want it inside application.
Awesome.
I will make sure to update that file for anyone else. So it's
So that looks good now. It's in application. We've got that saved, and now back over here. All right, number 4. In the resources folder of the Android project, we're going to create a new folder called XML, and in that, we're going to create a new file called file_path. So let's see if I can do 2 things at once.
Yep, so for anyone interested, what this is doing is, again, it's all part of this media plugin library. It's just setting up values so that it knows where to find the folders on the phone, where the videos and photos are stored. A lot of plugins that you use have a lot less setup than this. This is quite unusual, but it's not that bad.
It doesn't want me to add it.
Why? What's the...
Does it? Is it hidden? All right, let's go and reveal in Finder.
What's going on?
There we go. Right, I'm just gonna delete. Delete.
Move to bin.
Move to bin. But you wouldn't think I used a Mac myself, would you? Honestly. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to try this again. New folder.
They were blaming Git for that one because I did do a Git reset.
Yay, okay, cool. All right, so now I need to add that XML file. That's really far down, isn't it? I can't make that go any further down. I'll be kneeling on the floor as well. So new file, XML. And I should have that in the copy buffer already. I do, so let's create that. And then we need to stick some... Oh, right. It's gone again.
It's the other way, I think.
Let me go. This has gone... No. Let me just get this back. Oh, it is. It's where it should be. Let's swap that round. There we go. And then we can go back here.
There we go, yeah.
All right, things have to be in the right order.
It's macOS for that. It does it to me all the time. I set up desktops when I give a talk so you can separate out the slides and the code, and it reorders them all the time.
Just to make life interesting. All right, so in here, I'm going to put some more stuff, and what's this do?
I said this is what I was mentioning before about it's just setting up the paths to where it finds things.
Okay.
So it's just saying, external file paths is pictures of movies. So if you've got an Android device, you'll know in your gallery that it's pictures of movies.
All right, so now it looks like we're going over to the iOS project, and this is going to go in the info.plist just before the closing dict tag. So let me grab
But info.plist is fun on a Mac because...
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, well, no, it's because Visual Studio for Mac is still slightly a second-class citizen to Visual Studio for Windows, and so despite info.plist being an iOS thing, it doesn't give you a nice...
That.
Yeah, you get that. Whereas our setup has said to us, hey, can you paste these literal key value pairs into this file? It's like, how'd you do it? So we have to be really awkward about it.
Okay, and so we're going to reveal in Finder. Let's open it in code, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, everyone's best friend is Visual Studio Code, right?
So let's open with, it's not there. Let's go other. Tell you, this Mac is not very friendly, is it? Let's go.
Maybe it's just it's just getting its revenge, because after being loyal to it for years, I set my Windows 10 PC back up a few weeks ago.
All right, so it says that's humongous. That's just, there we go. So it said just before the closing dict tag, so let's pop that in, and that looks good.
Yeah, so what this is doing is, I don't know if you've ever owned an iPhone, I'm sure people in here have got iPhones. You know, you often have, when you have an app, you get a pop-up that says this needs access to your camera or your microphone and gives you a reason why. This is doing exactly that, so it's setting up, hey, when you ask for camera permissions, this is what text you want you to put in. So it's just, you could have a custom message if you wanted to, so you could be really specific if you wanted.
Cool.
These are quite generic messages, but that's all that's doing. It's just setting up the text for those pop-up boxes.
So that's the plugin added by the looks of it. So now we're going to go back to that view model. Now we've got the plugin added. So the first thing we're going to do is add our usings. So let's
Lots of using statements.
And it's done it again, hasn't it? There we go.
It's one to the right.
It's that one. And oh no, I need it back in the order, or else I'm going to flick the wrong way and I'll get mad. Don't want me mad. All right, so I'm going to close these down. So this is the view model we want in. And let me just make that a fraction bigger. So we're going to put those using statements in there. And there, that's better. All right, so let's go. And this needs to extend the base view model. So let's do that.
Yep, so what base view model actually comes from a NuGet library that I already added to the project before we started, and it's called Mvvm Helpers. So for anyone that's ever done MVVM before or dealt with data bindings, you might know the C# interface iNotify property changed. So when you want to start using iNotify property change, you normally have to create your own base view model class and put a load of code in it. I'm a QA these days, as I said in my first slide. If I can avoid all these complicated things, I will. And actually the same person who wrote the media plugin actually wrote something called Mvvm Helpers, which writes all that for you and just makes it a lot easier. So that's where that comes from.
So I've just grabbed some properties now. We've got a couple of privates there and a public. And so these ones don't quite match up to the ones in our view yet, do they?
No.
So we're going to sort that in a moment with some publics, I assume.
Yes.
So let's just carry on. So we've got those.
Yep, so obviously you can see that I command there. That was the take photo command that we put in our bindings on the button.
Is that this one here? So take photo command. Okay, so that is public and that matches that.
Yep.
And then let's have a look at the next bit. So we've got this public URI here, image for sparkles. Now, does that match up with our source?
It should do.
Let's have a look. So we've got that one down there.
Yep.
If we go back here, so you can see now we've got that image for sparkles. So you can see the binding is coming together there. And we go back to that. And what we're saying is on the get, it's going to match this image source up here, and then we can set it as that as well.
Yeah, so all that set property is doing is it comes from the Mvvm Helpers libraries. It's just saying when you want to set that public property, send it the reference, which is our private backing field, and then the value that you actually want to update it with.
Cool. So coming back in here, we've now got this private task here, this private method. So let's just grab that, and then once I've got it in code, we can have a closer look at it.
I can explain it all to you once you pasted it.
So let's go in here. So let's start at the top. So the first thing we've got here is this crossmedia.current.initialize.
Yep, so this is just another requirement from that media plugin. It just says, one of the requirements of the library is it just says, hey, can you just call initialize before you use it? If you forget to do that, it will actually error and tell you exactly that you need to initialize it. One of the things to remember is that it is asynchronous. You do have to put a wait before it. Sometimes the error message doesn't tell you that, so then you put it in and you're like, but I have, why aren't you working? And that is why.
So then we've got a try catch here, and this is checking if the camera is available, because it's hard to take a photo without an available camera.
Yeah, and certainly when you run things like the iOS simulator doesn't have a camera at all. The Android emulator will bring up like a fake room with like black and white checkerboard floor, I think it is. But yeah, basically you just want to check, because if it's an old device or it is a simulator, then it might not work.
Okay, and then we've got a bit of here, we're getting the selfie, and then if I just move that way a little bit, that looks like we're going to do something with a service. And I'm guessing this has got a red squiggle because we haven't written the service yet.
Correct.
Alrighty. See, I'm not being too dumb here.
Hey, you're a C# developer, and this is just C# code, really.
And then it looks like we're going to get that image URL back and set that for our image for sparkles. So
yeah, because obviously you'd imagine the source, you'd expect it to be a picture. But image from the Xamarin Forms library as a component does actually support URL, so it can go and fetch the image from the internet. So in this case, we've set it to a URI because we're just saying, hey, we're never going to give you an actual picture. It's always going to be a URL of where to go and get our picture from.
That's what my function returns.
Yes.
So yeah, just a URL. All right, so let's go and start working on the service.
Just double check the markdown file. I can't remember.
Which one?
The markdown file, as in the...
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. This one. Oh, yes. Very important.
There you go. See, you forgot a step.
I did. Bad Layla, bad Layla. Jumping on ahead. I told you I would rush on ahead.
It's fine.
And you'd all have to watch me. So this is going in the constructor. So let's go up here. And that's because if we look here, this is a private method. And we need to somehow make that bind with this one,
and obviously, of course, take photo command isn't even initialized yet, so that's what that does.
So what we've got here is a new command, and then we've got an expression in there.
Yep, so command, as you imagine, is from the Xamarin Forms library, because obviously we saw command as our data binding attribute name on our button.
Yep.
And so all we're saying here is, it's just link, or whatever, I don't know what it's technically C#.
I call that an expression.
Expression, there you go.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're the C# developer here, I'm just a QA, remember. No, you can do it. You could do it whichever way you want. It just tends to be, honestly, I forget how to do this sometimes, and I always use James Montemagno as a reference point, and he always does it like that, so do I.
So, John, are you saying could you do it like that? No? Oh, and just pass it through?
I think it has to take an action. The action to execute.
Does this say?
That's an interesting one. I'm gonna find out about that one afterwards.
It does say action execute, and it takes 3 overloads. So, but we can have a look into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Luce can have a look into that.
Yes, because to be fair, that's a good question, and because James does it, it's not necessarily an answer. But I play that card a lot.
James has got a new version of the Mvvm Helpers, where he's got an async command now, which means you can just put it in as take photos async.
Okay,
cool.
So less button pushes, he's done a few.
Yeah, interestingly, I did put the latest Mvvm Helpers, but it might just be that I just did it the way I know how.
It's under the beta, so you have to.
Okay, yeah, I just use stable because. What kind of a nutcase would come to a conference and use preview things?
No, put that hand down. Cool, so you're very brave. You fly jumbo jets, so, we can't really compete with that. Right, so we're going to do our service.
Now we're ready for the service.
Okay.
Now you can get carried away.
All right, I'm going to get carried away now with more usings, yay, okay.
It's quite unusual that you're getting carried away. It's normally me that rushes in like a bull in a china shop. And then trips over my own feet and does something hilarious.
I am rather clumsy though, still. So we've just got some nice usings there, nothing fancy. And right, so what we're going to have here, I'm going to grab this in a couple of sections because that's a big chunk of code.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So inside our service, let's have a look.
And you'll see I made it static.
Yeah. Do not look at this. Do not look at it.
To be fair, it gives me PTSD because Layla sent me the URL on Twitter, and it turns out that when you copy URLs from Twitter, it auto-shortens them into a t.co URL, and it was never sending any data, and we couldn't work out why, and then when we changed it from a Twitter shortened URL to the full URL, it started working.
Yeah.
So yeah, none of us need to look at that.
No, so we just ignore that, and it hasn't got any keys in it or anything like that. So we just ignore that one. It's just a URL to everybody. Then we've got a client here, and then we've just got download URL and the Sparkle GIF URL, which I'm hoping we will populate.
Yeah, because as you saw from the architecture diagram, it works with it. You upload the picture. Yeah, you upload the picture, it processes it, and then it gives you a download URL to then go and if you then fetch from the download URL, it gives you another URL where the GIF lives.
Right. I'm going to grab this next section here. So let's go back.
Oh, this is a fun bit. I'll talk you through this one in a sec.
Alrighty. So we've got the Sparkle Selfie.
Poorly named, that's
poorly
my
named.
fault.
I already called that out. Sorry. I said it should be more descriptive.
And then we never actually got around to giving it a more descriptive
Well, we did
name.
want to come in here and actually talk to you, like
That's
not
true, yeah.
sitting there correcting code. So what we're doing, my function needs the image sent as a binary. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to create it into a byte array and get ready to send that up. We haven't used this wait for success yet, so we'll come back to that in a moment. So going back in here, let's have a look. So we've got this first bit here, this first using, which is going to use the client, and I'm just going to pop that in here. And let's have a look at this, what this is doing. So this looks like it's posting the image up. So if I go back to my diagram, this is this first bit going up to the HTTP trigger upload. So we're going to upload that byte array of the image up to there, and then that will get written to the image itself, will get written to the blob storage, which then calls the blob storage trigger, which then does all the processing. And we write a record in the table storage, which is like, yes, we've got the image uploaded, here is the ID, et cetera, et cetera. And then that returns a URL to the download one with the ID already complete in that, ready to go. So that's going to be the next bit. So we've got that, and you can see now we've got this wait for success. So I think we should write the code for that next, shouldn't we? So let's go back over here and have a look at what this is. Oh my God, this is a big bit of code.
Sorry.
I'll let Luce go through this. I'm going to be...
do you know what? You're lucky that I understand this, because I didn't write this. If anyone knows Clancy at Microsoft, he helped write Xamarin Forms and is now an architect. I tried to get James to have a call with me to make sure that I wasn't teaching you anything badly, but he didn't get my email in time, so I just roped Clancy into helping. And he wrote this because he said that polling was important and you should do it right.
Okay, so you have to poll my function, and every time you go to it, if it says... if you go to that download trigger and it returns a 102, which is processing, it means that the image isn't ready. We're still waiting on the third-party API to actually process the image. So that's what's happening. And as soon as that is ready, that image, we get completed on the table storage record, and then that returns the URL to that actual processed image, our sparkly GIF.
Yes.
And so that's what we're going to be polling, isn't it?
Yep.
So if I go back to the code, Luce, do you want to talk us
Yeah, so
through
what this is doing is it's just setting up, it's using a task. So it's basically running a task that's checking whether or not it's been successful yet. While it's not successful and you need to carry on polling, it's going off to our URL, doing a get on it and just saying, get it back as a string. If the response you're getting back is 102, it means it's still processing. If it's not processing, then we know that it should be okay. And then we can carry on. So then we set its success to true. And then it will, obviously it does a check down here so that if it's not ready yet, wait a second and then try again. And then obviously if it's successful, then it returns it. And that's when it'll come back and it'll continue and going, hey, we've had success.
Cool, so that's going to be our next bit of code up here. So if we go back, not that way, oh God, here we go. The joys of Macs.
If we ever do a talk together again, I'm going to buy you a pack of batteries.
Just so I can have a working mouse, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, look, this looks like the last bit of code.
Ooh.
Okay, all right. So let's grab this bit, and this is going to go in place of this return null. And so this is going to go and make a call, because we know it's ready, and it's going to return that URL.
Yes.
Okay.
And before anyone says anything about the two usings, we have had words about this and it will get refactored.
I was like, I don't like that.
I don't write code very often these days and I'm a bit rusty, so I was actually using a blog post for this, and I think because I didn't realise at first that you needed to poll it again to get the URL, I just added it and I couldn't work out the best way to do it, so I just did another using. So sorry.
It's a prototype.
It is a prototype, absolutely.
And with prototypes we will refactor in time.
We will.
So yeah.
It'll be fine.
So is that it?
I think so. We'll find out when we run it. Okay. So first of all, we just need to get my phone to connect because this cable is dodgy, and every time we've moved, it's moved the dongle.
Okay. All right.
It's fine. We've got plenty of time. This is why we.
Oh yeah. We've got loads of time.
This is why I was teaching you something nice and simple, because then we've got time for all my mistakes.
Needs to be simple.
For
me.
There we go. Nope. I'm not sure if it's the cable or my USB-C. It was working.
It's like it could be this one. If we do that and then do that, sometimes it picks up. It's this. Literally, we've had this just working a moment ago.
But it's okay, because if all else fails, we have a video, so it's fine. But we've got time, so.
Time.
Yeah, everyone that's public speaks knows if all else fails, you just pull a video out of the hat.
All right, I'm going to try a different USB port.
Come on. I'm definitely going to Covent Garden after this to the Apple store to buy a new cable because this is ridiculous. Oh, no. Ooh,
Oh. Is it doing... Would it work on my Android?
It would.
All right, let's just... Trusty Android device.
Yeah. I quite like switching to iOS, but on this occasion with my cable, but yeah. But we've not tried it on yours, so it's good fun.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, is
Sod's
it
law.
working now?
Sod's law. It sensed
because I threatened it,
Yeah.
didn't I? I threatened it with
Yeah.
Android.
Yeah. Google versus Apple fight. Apple came out strong. There we go.
Well,
Sort of. There we go. So we've got my phone as a device. Now, obviously, we can't really do it over conference Wi-Fi because Troy's in town, and so they lock it down. But normally, if you set your iPhone up once in Xcode, I think there's like a menu which is like device, and then you can it will see it. Once it's connected once, you could actually set it up over Wi-Fi so that once you're on the same Wi-Fi network with both your Mac and your iPhone, you can actually deploy without a wire. But conference Wi-Fi, so cable it is.
dodgy cables.
Yeah. So let's deploy that.
So that says SuperSparklySelfie.ios because we want to deploy the iOS app,
Yep.
yeah?
See, you're learning.
Now, what I've learnt recently with deploying to devices is it takes a long time. So, for those of you who don't know, I used to be a Pilates teacher, so all of you, feet flat on the floor, don't you roll your eyes at me, and we're just going to take some nice deep breaths because you've probably been in here all day. So feet flat on the floor. No, I'm busy.
Okay,
you do
yes.
that. And I just want you to sit up straight and look at you, Shahid.
It just needs cleaning. That's all it is. It just needs cleaning.
Focus on me, not what's going on over there.
Cleanse your soles of Pilates and I'll clean the project.
Cleaning everything, project and you. So hands on your knees. And I want you to just take a nice deep breath in, crown of the head going up towards the ceiling, and then just slowly let that breath come out. And a nice deep breath in. Fill the back of your lungs. And exhaling out. And we're going to do another one. Is it still building? And in. And just let it all go. And just have a little shake of those shoulders. And you see, you feel better now, don't you?
It's normally fast. No, it's getting there. It takes a while the first time. But you'll get there.
Keep breathing.
Do you know any good jokes?
No.
What's it like to work in a shoe recycling factory? Soul destroying.
Boom, boom. Oh, God.
Are we Basil Brush?
Please build.
You agreed to give a talk with me. You knew what you signed up for.
I know. Oh, look, it's nearly there. It's nearly there.
What do you call an 8-legged sea creature that can tell the time? Cloctopus.
Oh, my God. I apologise, everybody. I apologise for my friend.
Right.
But it does look like we have
Here we go.
app.
But we have screen sharing and it still works.
Right, let's just hide some things. Luce, what's all this mess over here?
Screenshots.
Oh.
I write blog posts and you have to put screenshots in. I know you're the judgy one, but don't judge me. Right,
So-
okay, do you want to do the honours after all that?
Are you all going to have a selfie with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Let's
so
do a group
we've got
selfie.
that, and I can turn the camera around. All right.
It's like photobomb.
Half my face.
Oh,
Oh, God.
moaning about But it's fine, we got
It's
it.
fine.
It's all right, use the photo. There we go. Right, so it can take a minute, but that's okay. Conference Wi-Fi. But if we let it stop and think about it, we should get some sparkles back in a minute.
We've got a button and we took a photo, so I
Yeah.
think we're winning already. All right.
How many Xamarin apps have you written before?
Well, I sort of, you talked me through this yesterday, so it wasn't complete surprise to me. But you know.
Come on.
Right, do I press the button again?
You can do,
Can
yeah.
I be impatient?
You can be impatient.
Oh no.
That's right. What have you done? It's okay. Yeah, well, come on. How many people have written something that works first time when you're not just doing a hello world?
Nobody saw that then, did they? Well,
I mean,
you booed at something over there, not the code. Should we try it again?
they're booing my jokes. But it's okay, because if it doesn't work, we have a video.
I'm going to take a photo of them, and they'll be responsible for breaking the app.
Yeah.
Not us.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we go.
Yay!
Woo.
And it's sparkly.
And obviously, it's, the code's a bit flaky, I'm not going to lie, so that is actually the picture we took before, not the one we just took. But it worked, yeah, but it worked. Woo! Well done, Layla, you wrote your first app.
Hurrah!
How does it feel?
A bit nerve-wracking, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the sparkles are a bit OTT, because
They're not animated, Luce.
yeah, well, we can fix that.
All right, should we fix
Shall we fix it? Okay.
Okay,
So
how
if
do we
we
fix it?
go back to Visual Studio,
Alrighty.
and right, I'm going to let you drive. So if you go into the view page, the XAML page,
Alrighty.
so you see we've got source on the image.
Yeah.
There's another property that we can add to that,
Okay.
which is called it's a new one that they added in Xamarin Forms 4.3, I think,
Right.
which is called is animation playing.
Ooh.
And if we just set that to true,
Okay.
then when we deploy just save, yeah, you can just, it will save all anyway. But yeah, if you just run it again,
All right.
and
It's
then you
not
get to
saying-
watch the same pane again.
It should be quicker, though. You told me it's quicker.
Well,
Or have I just jinxed it?
we'll see, won't we?
Do we have to close that one, or will it just go
It'll
over
just,
that?
it'll just go over it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Right, is that... It's
We don't have to
building?
press F5. We're not in a browser.
Okay. That told me!
It was more of a reference point for something that you might know. Because you taught me ASP.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, it was,
Oh, look, it's doing stuff.
Oh, there we go. It's thinking about it. Yeah. So it's just if we switch back to QuickTime, so you can see. There's nothing to look at the minute. There we go. Right. So it's reopened the app, so we can do it again.
I'm nervous about doing this. Let's hope we have objects.
Yes. Well.
All right. I'm blaming all you if it breaks. Okay, use photo.
Okay. So we'll give it a minute to think about it. But no, I never used to know how to do roots in ASP until you told me.
No, okay, good.
Oh, but that was a good day.
I'm kind of useful then.
Well, I mean,
I can copy and paste code.
my code's flaky, so you're clearly more valuable than I am.
You just taught me this,
That's true.
live in front of all of them.
We taught everyone this.
All right, I'm going to try this again because it seems like we need to do two.
Yes. I will solve this afterwards, don't worry.
I'm doing exactly the same photo, so you won't know.
I mean, it does still take a minute regardless, but...
I want it
We'll
to be
see.
sparkly.
Can you just quickly switch back to the code?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I noticed something.
Ah, okay, yeah.
In the view mode.
The model, yeah.
Scroll down to where you wait for success.
Scroll up a bit.
Oh,
Up.
sorry.
Up.
It's in the service.
Oh,
In
it's
the service, yeah.
Oh, see, you know my code better than I do. I mean, that's reassuring.
Scroll down. Here, you'll task.wait any task.delay timeout. You're always going to wait the full timeout.
Ah.
Even if the success returns. So you want to put when any task delay timeout and your other task.
In there.
Ah.
So, do we need to do that now?
We can.
It's probably returned by now.
Well, we just stopped it. So, but it's okay. It's fine. We've got time. What is the time? Okay, we've got 17
time.
minutes. We've got time
Okay.
for this.
So, did you want to...
So it was.
So create an array with task.delay and success task.
Oh, so you've got all of them in there. Oh,
Go for
God, I haven't done this for a while.
I'm a QA. Right? I'm going.
An array, as in like square brackets, John.
Just put success task, comma.
I do know how to code.
Hey, look on the bright side. I don't have to go on Stack Overflow to find the answer because the person who will tell me the answer is telling me live.
All right, so what
Thanks, John.
is success, did you say, John?
Success task.
Yeah, it's because.
So the idea is you're trying to wait for either the task that you've just started or the timeout. One of those is going to complete first.
Okay, like that.
Perfect.
All right.
Beautiful. There we go.
And then we
can
need
try
to make
again.
sure that's on your iPhone.
Yes.
Let's run.
Luce, is the PS for Mac not got hot read?
It would. So it has. So it will have hot reload for the XAML. Oh, hot restart. Isn't that just for Windows at the moment?
Hot reload because when you changed to XAML earlier, it didn't.
Yeah, no, it's, so I probably could have done hot reload. So those who don't know, XAML hot reload is a really cool feature where you can have the app running, and if you change the XAML file, it will just, as soon as you save the XAML file, it will just update the UI on the phone, so you don't need to stop and restart.
It's done that funny thing again.
Oh, it's okay, you just need to clean.
Oh, I thought it was like you had to change something.
No, that was what I thought might fix it, but it turned out just
okay.
cleaning it fixes it.
All right.
But yeah, so XAML hot reload is great for productivity. It's just that because we're getting those funky errors, I didn't want to turn linker off, but in order to use hot reload, you need linker off, so I just left it on. Linker haunts me. The last time I gave a talk, I made the mistake of 10 minutes before I went live. Visual Studio for Mac went, oh, we've got an update download. Did you want to install and restart? Yeah, go on then.
That's like me in the middle of a talk. I'm so enraged at my machine going, I need to do an update now. Rather than press cancel, I went, okay. 5 minutes into my 45-minute talk, I've never spoken so quickly in my life, and I don't know how it was a Microsoft 5 minutes on my Mac, so I kind of got away with it.
But it's building again.
It
And maybe
is.
this time it'll work better. But it's nice when we have audience participation. I was giving a talk on F# last year, and believe it or not, I learned while giving a talk on F# that F# uses indentation and whitespace.
Yeah, F# and I don't mix.
Well, I mean, I did it at an F# user group, so I was just surrounded by people who could help, so that was all right. Thankfully, people are nice when you public speak, so they normally help you rather than heckle.
Right, unlock it.
Yeah.
Yeah, except the heckler there.
There we go. Right, let you take the picture again.
Okay. All right. Smile.
Can we do the screen share?
Yes, we can. Just quick time,
There we go.
so we can use that photo. And now we wait and see what happens. Obviously, we can't control how long it actually takes to poll for the picture, but
Quick. You know I'm impatient. I want to press the button again now. You said that sometimes. It's like pressing the lift button. I'm going to take that end.
problem is in my building at work, because there's 28 floors, they do lift management with the 4 lifts. So if you try and pretend that one of you, you press it 6 times, it will only bring a lift if it's got space to pick up 6 people.
Oh,
So being impatient isn't always beneficial.
it's not doing anything.
Oh, well, it's okay, because we know it works, because we've seen it, but we just want to... We can keep
Take
trying.
that side of the room in case it's that side of the room breaking it, yeah?
All right, well, we'll exercise some patience.
Okay, I'm putting the phone down. I got the hint then.
No, it's okay. Yeah, but to be fair, we know the code's not perfect. I mean, I'm a QA that tried to write your demo app, so that's my excuse.
I think you've done brilliantly.
Woohoo! Awesome.
Yes!
I don't know why it's rotated funny, but that's okay. But,
Just need to rotate it now.
well, yeah, well.
Typical customer.
So, and it's animated.
But it's animated. There we go. See, we have animated sparkles.
So we sparkled.
Everyone.
Which side of the room is that?
That is...
That side.
That's-
Good side. Bad
You told them that they
side.
might be breaking it a minute ago. You need to be nicer to your audience.
No, I'm nice to them now.
Did you bring stickers to bribe them with?
I did. Oh, look, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we totally missed that. Both sides are nicer. Yes, it's a feature. That's it. It's meant to do it. So, yeah, I think we've done it.
We have.
We sparkled all of you.
We can look at what's the time? We've got 12 minutes. Do you want me to show you hot reload?
But do you think anyone has any questions?
That is true.
Are you brave enough to ask us questions? We have got John over there, so it's fine.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Could we have tested the thing without putting it onto the phone?
So with a
Quite a time-consuming thing waiting for the phone.
yeah, so a lot of the time for a lot of the Xamarin apps you write, you wouldn't need it. It's just because we're taking a photo. As I mentioned earlier, the iOS simulator doesn't support camera, so you'd need a physical device to take a picture. And then the Android emulator just brings up a funky screen. We can always try running it on Android simulator and see if it actually handles and sparkles the fake image.
So I guess if I go over here
And
and
stop. Yep.
and
So
then
change
I
to
switch
Android.
to Android and debug.
Oh, weirdly, it's Visual Studio for Mac. You can leave it as debug iPhone and it still brought up a...
Oh, okay.
Yep, that'll do.
Yeah.
That's
all
the
right.
simulator. Just run. This will take a minute because, believe it or not, Android is even worse than Amazon.
I don't believe it.
Hey,
You
do
said believe it or not, I don't.
Oh, okay, right, well.
So you're simulating an Android on a Mac?
Yes. All part of the Xamarin tooling. You get it completely out of the box. On Visual Studio for Windows, in the installer, you have to click a mobile workload. But with the Visual Studio for Mac, it might be that you have to tick a box during the setup, but I'm pretty sure it's just out of the box. But you do automatically get like the Android tooling and everything. They do sort of play nicely together. Should we close QuickTime Player? We don't need to see my random set of apps and the fact that I shop at Tesco's.
So that we're just waiting for that now to deploy to the sort of emulator.
Yes.
Okay.
So there you go, so it's doing it.
Okay.
They are doing a lot of work to speed up the Android build times because it is a known issue that it takes forever, and it's a Google side problem, not like an Xamarin problem. There you go. So the first time you do it, it's just saying, do you want permission to take pictures? What did you do?
I don't know. It just came up. Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
Because I've already pressed it once, you see. I pressed it again, didn't I?
Yeah, but this is why you try it on different platforms and devices, because you find these problems. Okay.
So it's obviously still waiting on that previous operation.
But it wasn't... But
There's a camera.
Where?
On the
Oh, there.
that takes a screenshot, yeah.
Ah.
It's all right, we can just go... Yeah, but it's all right, because we can just do... Oh, yeah, there's other apps that I made on here, like my... where is it? Let's find it in our list. No, not that one.
Come, let me move out of your way. There, look, I see
It'll be
them
one
all
of
down
those.
there.
Yes, it's going to be... Try that one. There we go. Right, I'm going to do it this time.
You do it, yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, right, do you know what? We're going to stop this and restart. When all else fails, we'll restart. It won't take us long this time because the simulator's already started. There you go.
Oh, okay. You can press it this time.
Oh,
Maybe
God.
I jinxed it by my
Maybe.
multiple presses.
What's it do? Thinking about it. Oh, well, there we go. There we go.
Okay. That's what it did last time.
Ah, okay.
So I think...
Maybe it doesn't like the emulator.
Yeah, I know from some stuff I've been doing with VR and Unity that you actually need the camera on like the physical build thing. Physical build thing? I swear I'm technical. You actually need the physical device with its camera because the emulators just can't handle camera-specific things. If anything else that you're doing, you could use the emulator.
Yep.
But if you're playing with the camera, you really do need it on a device.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, complete transparency. 9 times out of 10 when I'm making apps I don't need a physical device for, I will just run them on a simulator. I mean, when I was testing out this proof of concept to make sure that it would work with Layla's function and everything, I actually just used UWP constantly because I was on a Windows 10 PC with a webcam attached and I just thought, I'm going to be lazy, just going to run it on UWP. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Do you need to do anything special on your iPhone to make that thing load on
Nope.
the iPhone?
On the iPhone, so...
And on the Android. So where can you just take just an Android device?
So yeah, so iOS is simpler than Android. iOS will just work as long as you've got the tools like Xcode and everything as the build tool installed on your Mac. When you build it in Visual Studio, it will just run on your iPhone. With Android, you have to allow USB debugging, and there's a trick to that, which is in the settings of your Android device, in one of the menus will be build number. If you tap it 7 times, it unlocks developer menu, and then you can tick allow USB debugging, and then it will work. But that menu is quite fun. You can even turn your phone grayscale from that menu.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So what do we need for iPhone?
Yeah, I forgot because mine does it already. Good question. Because
So what was it? I didn't
So
hear.
right, it's provisioning profile. So I forget. Thanks for keeping me honest. So with iOS, you just have to have basically Apple try and get money out of you. So when you're just genuinely. So every device that you have, it has a provisioning profile which is attached to your developer account
Right.
on the Apple developer portal that just says, yep, we're allowed to put apps on this phone and this is the identity. And then you have is it certificates as well, which also get generated, but Visual Studio with something called Fastlane does it automatically for you. So as long as it's set to automatically provision, as long as you're signed into your Apple account that's got...
It will just do it.
It will just do it. If you're just doing local development to a physical device, I think it creates a pretend profile that will last for 7 days. You only need to start spending $99 a year on a developer account or like developer subscription if you actually want to put it on the App Store.
Okay, that makes sense.
I forgot about that.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you still have a Mac for the iOS product?
Yes. So one of the drawbacks is that Apple likes to make money. I'll let Apple argue about why they do it. But basically, in order to build iOS apps, because as I mentioned earlier, Xamarin is just the same build tools under the hood. In order to build iOS apps, you need Xcode build tools, and so you can only get that on a Mac. So if you don't have access to a Mac, there's things like macincloud.com, which will allow you to rent a Mac for builds for your applications. Or you could, if you really wanted the faff, you could go into App Center, set up a build for your project, linked to like GitHub or DevOps repos, whatever you want. And then you can just build it that way. But yeah, you do need access to a Mac to do it like that. Microsoft did bring out something recently called XAML Hot Restart, which most people think of as you don't need, for local development, you don't need a Mac. Once it's done once, you can just build it. But what that's actually doing under the hood is doing a comparison of the code. So it'll if there's any like C# language code changes to your project, it will just update those on the app. So it's a bit like the XAML Hot Reload for the UI, but for the actual whole project. So that does mean that you don't need to completely build the whole project from scratch every time you make a change. So that means that for some circumstances you don't need a Mac, but 9 times out of 10, if you actually want to build the whole thing, unfortunately you do.
Cool. I didn't know about French Mac.
Yeah, no, macincloud.com. It's a good one.
So I think we can say thank you for bearing with us. I had fun. I hope you had fun.
I had fun. I got to crack jokes and do Pilates. What more do you want?
Exactly. So the MD file isn't ready. We want to tweak it, do some code updates and everything.
We all know that it needs refactoring.
And I also want to get my function ready for you as well, so you can have the whole lot. If you do want it, you can text. I work for a communications company, so you can I can do texting very easily. I won't spam you for marketing. Don't worry. This is just for us privately, so don't feel afraid to text your email address to that. It won't go in some big drip campaign. Absolute Scout's honour. It would break GDPR anyway. Our details are there. And yes, I have stickers and I have hair scrunchies for long-haired people or bearded folk that like scrunchies in their beards.
And it doesn't even have to be a scrunchie. I put my Twilio scrunchie that you gave me in September on a Xamarin Monkey and called it a bandana.
Well, there you go. So, if you want any stickers, you can come see me. Otherwise, we really appreciate you bearing with us. So, thank you very much.
There we go. You survived to the end.